Chapter 19. The Looming Cosmic Threat. Though the Earth was finally at peace, the universe beyond held vast, dangerous secrets. The death of the Earth's Otsutsuki threat sent shockwaves through the cosmos, alerting the Otsutsuki main family residing on their ancestral homeworld, a realm built around a dying, gargantuan god tree. Leading this ancient hierarchy was Homura Otsutsuki, the High King of the clan. Enraged by the destruction of Momoshiki, Kinshiki, and Ishiki at the hands of lowly mortals, Homura dispatched a legion of elite Otsutsuki enforcers to harvest Earth once and for all. Back on Earth, Boruto and Sarada, now recognized as the top young shinobi of their generation, formed a special global defense unit. Alongside Kawaki, Boruto had mastered both his karma and the Jugen, the pure eye in his right eye, allowing him to see dimensional rifts long before they opened. Using Sasuke's records and Boruto's Jugen, the team discovered that the incoming alien fleet carried a weapon far worse than any tailed beast, a device capable of siphoning the planetary chakra of Earth from its core, which would turn the world into a lifeless rock within days. Chapter 20. The Battle Beyond the Stars. Realizing that fighting on Earth would destroy their home, Boruto, Kawaki, Sarada, and a fully restored Sasuke Uchiha decided to take the fight directly to the enemy's home dimension. Naruto Uzumaki, though no longer possessing Kurama, insisted on accompanying them, relying on his refined sage mode and unmatched tactical experience as a veteran leader. The alliance arrived on the desolate, crimson-tinted planet of the Otsutsuki main clan. The battle was colossal. Kawaki unleashed his full karma weaponization, while Sarada, having mastered her Manjikyu Sharingan to manipulate space-time flames, slashed through waves of alien warriors. Naruto proved that even without a tailed beast, his frog sage mode infused with decades of combat wisdom made him a formidable force. Alongside Sasuke, who wielded his master swordsmanship and remaining Sharingan abilities, the two legendary veterans fought as a synchronized unit, protecting the younger generation from catastrophic blows. However, Homura Otsutsuki stepped onto the field, wielding dual golden Rinnegan and the ability to freeze time itself. Homura easily swatted away the combined attacks of Naruto and Sasuke, leaving them severely injured.
Chapter 21. The Dawn of a New Shinobi Epoch. With Naruto and Sasuke down, the fate of the cosmos fell onto Boruto and Kawaki. For the first time, the two adoptive brothers achieved complete synergy. Boruto activated his Jugen alongside his purified karma, while Kawaki synced his modified karma to match Boruto's frequency. Together, their chakra combined into a radiant, celestial aura, a fusion of alien godhood and human resolve. Boruto used his Uzuhiko Rasengan, but this time, he infused it with the rotational energy of the entire cosmos through his Jugen. As Homura attempted to freeze time, Boruto's Jugen pierced straight through the time-stop barrier. With a roaring strike, Boruto and Kawaki delivered a joint blast that shattered Homura's golden Rinnegan and vaporized the main clan's core, destroying the Otsutsuki hierarchy forever. Returning to Earth as victors, the heroes were welcomed by a united world. Naruto looked at his son, his daughter Himawari, Kawaki, and Sarada with immense pride. He officially declared that the era of relying on gods and monsters was over. Humanity had proven that willpower, bonds, and love would always triumph over absolute power. Years later, Sarada Uchiha was sworn in as the 9th Hokage, with Boruto wandering the dimension as her shadow protector, just as Sasuke had done for Naruto. Naruto, now an honored elder enjoying a peaceful life with Hinata and his grandchildren, sat on the porch of his home, looking up at the sky with a warm smile. The world was safe, the fire was passed down, and the legacy of the shinobi would live on forever. Chapter 22. The Origin of Chakra and the Primordial Realm. With the Otsutsuki main clan destroyed, peace seemed permanent. However, an ancient mystery remained unanswered. Where did chakra itself originate before the Otsutsuki ever planted their first god tree? While exploring deep, ancient ruins beneath the Leaf Village, Boruto and Sarada unlocked a hidden, dimensional chamber, left behind by the Sage of 6 Paths inside. They discovered a portal leading to the primordial realm, the birthplace of pure, untamed natural energy from which all existence sprang. However, this realm was guarded by the Genesis Leviathan, a colossal entity composed of primal energy that existed long before. Tailed beasts or shinobi. The entity awakened, sensing that the cosmic balance had been disrupted by the destruction of the Otsutsuki hierarchy. To prevent the Leviathan's chaotic energy from spilling into the physical world and disintegrating Earth on an atomic level, Boruto, Sarada, and Kawaki entered the primordial realm to face the entity. Chapter 23. The Trial of the True Shinobi. Inside the primordial realm, conventional jutsu and physical attacks were completely ineffective. The environment reflected the inner fears, regrets, and hearts of those who entered. The Leviathan subjected the young heroes to the trial of spirits. Kawaki was forced to face his lingering fear of isolation and his past obsession with absolute control. He realized that true protection comes from trust, not force. Sarada confronted the weight of leading the entire world as the ninth Hokage, shedding her self-doubt to awaken a radiant, pure manifestation of the will of fire through her Manjikyu Sharingan. Boruto faced the spirit of Momoshiki one final time within his minscape. Rather than fighting Momoshiki with hatred, Boruto used the true essence of his father's teaching, empathy and understanding to completely purify Momoshiki's dark soul, absorbing the alien's power completely as a natural part of himself without any risk of being taken over. Passing the trial, the trio earned the Leviathan's respect. The ancient entity recognized that humanity was no longer just a vessel for chakra, but its true guardians. Chapter 24. The Eternal Legacy. The Leviathan granted the young shinobi its blessing, infusing Earth with a new, stabilized form of natural energy that cured the planet's scars left behind by centuries of war and god trees. Returning to the hidden leaf, Boruto, Sarada, and Kawaki stood together atop the Hokage monument. Naruto Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha, now proud grandmasters, watched them from below. The world had evolved far beyond what anyone could have imagined. Sarada Uchiha led a golden age of peace as the ninth Hokage, uniting all nations into a single, harmonious council. Kawaki became the leader of the Shinobi Defense Force, using his power to heal and rebuild broken lives across the globe. Boruto Uzumaki embraced his destiny as the Wandering Guardian, traveling between dimensions to ensure peace across the cosmos, always returning home to the leaf. As twilight fell over the village, Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, and Sarada gathered at the Ichiraku ramen stand, just as Naruto had done decades ago as a lonely child, looking around at his family, his friends, and the peaceful world they had bled to protect. Naruto raised his bowl with a big, familiar smile. The tale of the lonely boy who painted stone faces had officially reached its eternal, perfect end, a legacy of bonds, love, and the unbreakable will of fire that would shine forever. Chapter 25. The Passage of Eras. Decades passed like gentle leaves floating down the river of time. The world that Naruto and his allies built prospered beyond imagination. The five great nations no longer remembered the boundaries of war, and the concept of a shinobi evolved from a warrior of shadow into a title of honor, a protector of nature, peace, and harmony. Naruto and Sasuke lived long, peaceful lives, surrounded by their children, grandchildren, and a world that revered them not as gods, but as the grandfathers of peace. When their time finally came to step into the beyond, the entire world united in quiet gratitude. There were no tears of despair, only celebration, for two lives that had completely changed the course of fate. In the spirit world, Naruto was reunited with Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, and Kurama, while Sasuke walked beside Itachi once again. On Earth, Sarada Uchiha served as Hokage for nearly half a century, succeeded by heroes who carried the exact same ideals. Boruto, remaining immortalized in legend as the Wandering Protector, watched over the dimensions from afar, ensuring no dark force would ever disturb the world his father had saved. Chapter 26. The Academy of the Will. Centuries later, the Hidden Leaf Village had transformed into a grand, peaceful sanctuary blending nature and advanced philosophy. High above the city, the monumental faces of the ancient Hokage, including Naruto Uzumaki, still watched over the people, carved deep into the stone. At the Shinobi Academy, a young, unruly orphan named Ren stood atop the Hokage monument with a bucket of paint. Just as a blonde boy had done centuries before, Ren felt lonely, misunderstood, and overlooked by the busy world below. Before he could splash the paint, an old man wearing a dark cloak and carrying a polished blade stepped out from the shadows of the forest. It was Boruto, walking the earth in quiet watchfulness. Boruto didn't scold the boy. Instead, he sat on the edge of the stone cliff, looked out at the glowing sunset, and chuckled softly. "You know," Boruto said gently, "someone very special to me used to do the exact same thing when he felt invisible." Ren paused, dropping his paintbrush. Did people notice him? Not at first, Boruto replied, a warm smile touching his eyes. But he didn't give up. He learned that you don't make people notice you by causing trouble. You do it by protecting them, by never going back on your word, and by building bonds that can never be broken. Chapter 27. The Fire Burns Eternal. Boruto handed the young boy an ancient, faded piece of cloth, a leaf emblem, forehead protector that had once belonged to Naruto Uzumaki. Ren held the metal plate in his hands, feeling a strange, deep warmth radiating from it. The loneliness in his chest suddenly vanished, replaced by an unbreakable fire. What was his name? Ren asked, looking up with wide, hopeful eyes. Boruto stood up, adjusting his cloak as a gentle breeze swept through the trees. His name was Naruto Uzumaki, and his story is the reason we are all standing here today. As Boruto faded into the twilight to continue his quiet vigil across the cosmos, Ren tied the headband around his forehead. He looked out over the vast, peaceful village, raised his fist to the sky, and shouted into the wind. "Just you wait. I'm going to become a hero who protects everyone, because that is my ninja way." Below, in the heart of the Leaf Village, the wind rustled through the trees, carrying the warmth of the will of fire into a new tomorrow, forever unbroken, forever eternal. Chapter 28. The Library of Souls. High above the physical realm, in a tranquil dimension known as the Soul Sanctum, records of every life lived, every bond formed, and every battle fought were preserved in glowing threads of chakra. Here, Jiraiya sat on a porch overlooking a sea of endless clouds, writing the final pages of his lifelong book series. Next to him sat Minato, Kushina, and Itachi, softly chatting as they watched the living world below through a clear, mirror-like pool. Suddenly, a bright golden light coalesced beside them. Kurama, the Nine-Tails, materialized in his full, magnificent golden form, not as a raging demon of hatred, but as a peaceful guardian spirit. "You took your time getting back here." "Fox," Jiraiya chuckled, setting his pen down. "I had to make sure that idiot boy and his kids didn't blow up the world first." Kurama grunted with a smirk, laying his massive head down beside Kushina, who gently patted his ear. Looking into the pool, they watched young Ren running through the Leaf Village streets wearing Naruto's ancient headband. They saw the legacy of peace thriving across all 5 nations. Minato smiled warmly, leaning back. He really did it, didn't he? He changed the world. Chapter 29. The Gathering of Legends. As the centuries rolled on in the physical world, a cosmic alignment occurred, the Grand Shinobi Conjunction, a rare event where the spiritual and physical dimensions briefly touched. On a quiet night during the annual Leaf Festival, the spirits of the past heroes, Minato, Kushina, Jiraiya, Itachi, Neji, Hashirama, Madara, and Kurama, appeared as soft, glowing avatars atop the Hokage monument, invisible to normal eyes. Boruto, returning from his dimensional travels, landed on the roof of the Hokage mansion. Alongside him stood Sarada, the 9th Hokage, Kawaki, and an elderly Naruto and Sasuke in their spirit forms. Madara Uchiha looked down at the vibrant, glowing city filled with music, laughter, and neon lights, a world completely devoid of war. "So this was your dream, Hashirama?" Madara remarked quietly. "No," Hashirama replied, placing a hand on Madara's shoulder. "This was Naruto's dream, and he made it everyone's." For one night, the past and the present celebrated together. The old legends watched as the new generation danced, laughed, and lived without the fear of bloodshed. Chapter 30. The Eternal Oath, Finn. The festival drew to a close as the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. Young Ren stood at the edge of the training grounds, panting and covered in sweat after practicing his shadow clone jutsu all night. Though he failed repeatedly, he refused to stop. From the spirit realm, Naruto stood beside the boy, crossing his arms and watching with that familiar, mischievous grin. Though Ren couldn't see him, he felt a sudden surge of warmth and encouragement in his chest. Ren took a deep breath, formed the hand seal once more, and shouted into the morning air, "I won't give up, because that's my ninja way." A soft gust of wind blew through the valley, rustling the leaves of the great tree. High above, carved into the very rock of the mountain, the stone faces of the Hokage stood proud, a timeless reminder that as long as there are people who love, protect, and believe in one another, the will of fire will never go out.